Story time, story time, story time again. Story time, story time, story time again.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to San Bruno Library Presents Once Upon a Time. And I'm Miss Rocky, and I work at the San Bruno Library. And we do story times at the library, so I hope to see you at the library for story times, or just to come by and say hi or check out books. So let's start with a song, the Good Morning song, and you're going to repeat after me. And you can clap during the song if you want, or tap your knees, okay? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, I thank you, very well, I thank you. How about you? How about you? Very good. Now, if it's not morning, you could also sing the good evening song. So let's do the good evening song. Good evening, how are you? How are you? Very well, I thank you, very well, I thank you. How about you? How about you? Very good. All right, let's do another one. Let's do the Open, Shut Them song. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, crawl them, creep them, crawl them. Right up to your chin, chin, chin. Open up your little mouth, but do not let them in. Don't let them in. Good job, very good. Now, one more song we're going to do before I read you a story is the two little blackbirds. Remember the two little blackbirds sitting on a hill? And you have your thumbs up like this. Two little blackbirds, and they're going to be flying. So now you're going to have your thumb out and your pinky out, and they're going to be flying in the air. Can you do that? Let's see you all do that. Very good. Good job. Thumbs up, sitting on a hill, and then when they fly, you bring your pinky out, and they're flying in the air. All right, good job. Two little blackbirds sitting on a hill, one named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack. Come back, Jill. Very good. Now, when they're flying away and coming back, you're going to do this, like they're flying away and flying back. Good job. Let's do that again. Let's have our two blackbirds. Two little blackbirds sitting on a hill, one named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack. Fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack. Come back, Jill. Very good. Good job. That's kind of a tough one, too, to do. Takes practice. Next time, you'll get it right. Now, the story I'm going to read to you is Fancy Nancy. And some of you may know Fancy Nancy. I like Fancy Nancy. And I hope you do too. And it's written by Jane O'Connor. Fancy Nancy. And she looks pretty fancy there, doesn't it? Doesn't she? Fancy. And her room looks pretty fancy too. Oh, my goodness, it does. I love being fancy. As you can tell, she has a lot of stuff and fancy stuff in her room. My favorite color is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. And I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. That's a fancy way of saying feather. And I can't wait to learn French because everything in French sounds fancy. Nobody in my family is fancy at all. They never even ask for sprinkles on their ice cream. Do you like sprinkles on your ice cream? There's a lot that they don't understand. Lace-trimmed socks do help me play soccer better. And sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick in frilly toothpicks. A princess is supposed to keep her tiara on her head. That's a tiara, or a crown. What's a fancy girl to do? I ask my doll, Maribel. Her full name is Maribel Lavinia Chandelier. Then I get an idea that is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I make an ad and stick it on the fridge. And it says, "Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. Start today. Easy, fun, and free." Soon, there's a knock on my door. My family saw the ad. They want to get started right away. And here they are taking lessons from Nancy. The trouble is, my family doesn't own any fancy clothes. But that's okay. I go find, what is that word? Oh yes, some accessories. And she's got lots of accessories right here in her arms. You can't even see her face. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. And my mom twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about dinner at the King's Crown? Dad suggests. Wow, my parents are acting fancier already. And here she is, all excited. May I escort you lovely ladies outside? The limousine is waiting. My dad is our chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driver. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everyone looks up. They probably think we're movie stars. They do look pretty fancy, don't they? I am so proud of my whole family. They eat with their pinkies up in the air and call each other darling. Oh, darling, how is your pizza, darling? For dessert, let's have parfaits, my mom says. That's French for ice cream sundaes. Amazing, my mother knows French. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, merci. Merci means thank you in French. I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. And I'm walking and walking and oops, I trip and slip and crash. The tray does a double flip. Oh no. I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home. Poor Nancy, she slipped on her ballet shoes. After I get all cleaned up, I put on my dressing gown. Those are fancy words for bathrobe. I feel much better. I'm ready for a parfait. I tell my parents, Thank you for being fancy tonight. I love you, my dad says, and I love you, my mom says. And all I say back is, I love you, because there isn't a fancy or better way of saying that. The end. That was a nice story, right, Fancy Nancy? She slipped and fell, but she's all better now. Now it's time for a break. So you go get a drink of water or get some juice or go potty. And the next time I see you, we'll be singing some more songs and reading more books. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so I'll see you later, alligator. Bye.
All cyclists, adults and children, should follow standard safety precautions. One of the first and best rules to remember is
always wear a helmet!
Never wear a hat under your bike helmet. The helmet should be worn level and cover your forehead. The straps should always be fastened. A head injury means a brain injury. If your helmet doesn't have a Consumer Product Safety Commission sticker, get one that does. Brought to you by San Bruno's Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee and San Bruno Cable.
Personal foul? Inactive activities on a glorious day.
Huh?
Let's get out there and play!
Sweet.
Ooh, freeze!
When do I get to be in? Uh-oh.
Hey, Reggie, frozen people can't talk.
P-L-A-Y!
An hour a day.
I'm in. There are lots of great play ideas online, but don't stay too long.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
Let's do another song. Let me see your hands up like this. Very good. All right. Now you're going to follow my actions as I do this song, and it goes like this. I have 10 little fingers, and they all belong to me. I can make them do things. Would you like to see? I can shut them tight, and I can open them wide, and I can make them come together, and I can make them hide. I can bring them up high, and I can bring them down low, and I can roll them around and fold them like so. Very good. Let's try that again. So let's see, your hands up like this, and your fingers wiggle. All right. I have 10 little fingers, and they all belong to me. I can make them do things. Would you like to see? I can make them go tight, shut them tight like this, and I can open them wide. And I can fold them together like this, and I can make them high. I can make them go up high, and I can make them go down low. And I can roll them around, and I can fold them like so. Very good. All right. Let's do another song. I have a puppet, a finger or hand puppet. This is a special puppet. It has, these are frogs that you see here, and it has a Velcro, and these frogs come apart and they come together like this. And today I'm going to sing
the 5 little speckled frogs. And you know, I'm going to bring it over to this hand instead so you can see better, just like that. Okay? And let's count how many frogs we have here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. And if you know this song, I want you to sing with me, okay? And if not, you'll learn the words and we'll sing it next time. Here we go. 5 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 4 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 3 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 2 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 1 green speckled frog. Glub, glub. 1 little speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. But you wanted them to come back? I think they're done swimming. Let's bring them back. Let's count. 1 speckled frog. Now there's 2 speckled frogs. And what number is that? Did you say 3? Very good. Now there's 4. And if I add 1 more, what number does that make? Yes. Whoops. They all fell. They want to go back into the pool. We'll just leave 1 in the pool, but we had 5. All right. Good job, everybody. Now let's do the last story. And this one is called What to Do? What to Do by Tony Teven. And she's going to make some friends as well. Let's see. What to do? What to do? What animal do you see in this picture? Did you say cow? Very good. It is a cow. It looks like she lives on a big land where she has a cow and a farm. And this is old Sophie. And she lived all alone. Her days were long and lonely. And she talked to her cow. And she talked to her cabbages. And she talked to her pots and pans and her flowers and her furniture. But of course, she got no answer. Every day, Sophie put on her bright orange hat and her shawl with the floppy fringe right there and went to the well for water. And one morning, she saw birds nearby. "Nice birdies, sweet birdies," called Sophie, and they seemed to call back. "Squawk, nice lady, sweet lady." And Sophie was delighted. All aflutter, she ran to the cottage. "I'll feed the dears," she said. So Sophie, she baked bread as sweet as cake and as golden as the setting sun, and she scattered crumbs all around and waited. The birds came flocking. "Nice lady, tweet, tweet, tweet," and they perched on Sophie's shoulder, and they ate from her hand. Sophie loved it. Sophie, she baked more bread. The birds called their friends, and they came flocking, and they sat on Sophie's hat. and onto her shoulders, and they picked and pecked and gobbled up every crumb. Soon, birds from all over knew the old woman who wore the bright orange hat and the shawl with the floppy fringe. But there was no more nice lady, sweet lady. They filled the trees and lined the fence, screeching, squawk, squawk, and they sat on the porch and paced the roof, squawking, squawk, squawk, and they crowded poor Sophie and snatched and grabbed and crawled over every morsel. Sophie scolded them gently. Now, no biting, no scratching, no shoving. But the birds paid no attention. They filled the air with flapping wings and caws and hoots. It was noisy, and there was never enough bread. Squawk, squawk! Sophie tried to keep the peace. She baked more and more, filling the air with wonderful aroma. It floated over the countryside, all the way to the village. The people sniffed the air, and they smiled. Who could be baking such sweet-smelling bread? They asked one another. As you can see, they can smell all the way into town. That must be some yummy bread. Back at the cottage, Sophie had no smile. What she had was flour on her shoes, flour on the floor, and flour on her elbows. She was weary of kneading and baking, but the greedy birds demanded more, screeching and squawking, squawk, squawk, squawk! What to do, what to do? Please, birdies, she pleaded, no pestering. Please, birdies, she begged, no shouting. But the birds, they paid no attention. They followed Sophie everywhere. They followed when she went to milk the cow, squawk, and tend her garden, squawk. And they followed when she went to the village for more flour, squawk, squawk, squawk. What to do, what to do? Sophie worried every step of the way. When the people saw Sophie with her large sack of flour, one of them asked, "Do you bake the bread that fills the air with such sweet smells?" "Yes," replied Sophie, "I bake bread for the birds." "Would you bake bread for us too?" asked the child. But Sophie looked up. The birds circled impatiently overhead. "Sorry," said Sophie, "I can hardly keep up with the birds." And she hurried on her way. Squawk, squawk! And the birds, they followed her. What to do? What to do? Well, shortly, Sophie saw a wagon coming down the road with a sign that said, "Too many problems? Don't know what to do? Ask Velma, seer, sage, and confidential advisor." And leaning from the wagon was Velma herself. "Tell me your fortune, good mother," she crooned. "Solve the problem, step right in." "I think I will," said Sophie. And Velma got right down to business. "What ails you, dearie? Warts? Corns? A nasty bee sting?" "No," said Sophie. "A lazy husband or a naughty child?" "No," said Sophie. "Well, what then?" demanded Velma. "I haven't got all day." Well, poor Sophie's words came out in a tumble. Birds and breads and peck and shoo, squeak and squawk, what to do? Well, Velma made no sense of it, but it didn't matter. "A terrible problem," she wailed. "Lucky for you, I am a bird expert." And to herself she thought, "I know a cuckoo when I see one." "I will consult the crystal," she said importantly, peering into the glass ball. "Aha! The crystal says I need all your gold." "But I have no gold," said Sophie. Then it says I need all your silver, said Velma. But I have no silver, said Sophie. Well, Velma, she was in a hurry. She banged on the table. Well, what do you have? She snapped, and Sophie looked at Velma. She did not see a seer, and she did not see a sage. She did not see a confidential advisor. What she saw was a very greedy lady, just like those birds, thought Sophie. Right then, Sophie knew what to do. I have my beautiful orange hat and my shawl with fine floppy fringe, said Sophie. It will have to do, Velma snarled. Just for show, she said a quick hocus pocus and a hasty alakazam. And just for show, Sophie listened. Then Velma hustled Sophie out the door and snatched the hat and shawl. She climbed on her wagon and gave her mule a whack and rode out of sight with her hat and fringe flapping. And guess who followed Velma? The birds. They're following the red-orange hat and the shawl. And who did they leave alone now? Miss Sophie. As soon as Sophie heard the last caw and hoot, she picked up her sack of flour and hurried home. She went right to baking, and she made pies and cookies and tarts and sweet rolls and, of course, her wonderful golden bread. And Sophie hung a sign in the village, all welcome for baked goods, Mondays and Fridays only. Other days, stop by and visit, but bring your own bread. And there's the sign that she put up in town. How do you do's were asked and told. Tea was served and bread was sold. Friends were made as good as gold. And Sophie was never lonely again. And she made new friends. The end. Very good. What great listeners you are. And now it's time to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed story time today. And do you remember our goodbye song? And if you don't, that's okay. Sing along with me, okay? Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye. Make a smile and wave goodbye. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Thanks, everybody. Hope to see you again. See you next time. Bye.